And we're back here. Main event Thursdays, second hour means simply Uncle Lou. VSIN, joins us as well every Thursday. Whether you like gambling, whether you don't like gambling, he'll at least give you a perspective to talk to your friends and your coworkers and hopefully make us look smart out there as well, even if you don't gamble. And then, of course, gives us the gambling outlooks as well. Uncle Lou, how you doing today on this Thursday?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. It's Super Bowl week. We got waste management going on right now. I have a couple of plays on that.
I was going to ask you, do you play on that? We'll get into that.
I did, and I got a few Super Bowl tidbits, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Well, perfect. Well, we had a successful UFC in Australia. We're going to go NFL first here and waste management first here, but just because Apex this week here for the UFC, but tell everybody where they can find you. Obviously on Twitter at Gamblu for Twitter, and you put releases out there, so people need to pay attention to that. But also your website. So tell everybody about that.
My shirt. I should have wore a different color shirt in front of my lovely bricks.
Your brick. That's not that bad.
Gamblu.com is my entity. I'm a sports handicapper. Go to Gamblu.com to find out everything you want about me, then maybe a little bit more. The key is the top band of topics there. You can see the sports I work and what I do. We're finishing up NFL. And so NHL, College World Series on the horizon. I expect next week when there's no fights and no football that we're going to start to talk about World Baseball Classic, College World Series baseball teams, even hockey scratched the surface. So we go from one season right into the next, but along that top band, and this is what's great about Steve, he lets me mention the San Xavier Mission every week. The San Xavier Mission's the oldest mission in the United States. It sits here in Tucson, just south of Tucson. We're Phoenix. So it's a couple hours south of us. They're doing great work down there. A Catholic mission that was built, erected in 1670-something. And so it's been around forever. They're refurbishing it right now. They're doing great work there. It's dear to my heart. We contribute to it regularly. We invite anyone that's interested to hit the link that Kobe's flashing down below. You can go directly there yourself and check it out. And I appreciate Steve allowing me to mention it.
Absolutely. And I think you announced last week that you made your
we just made
yearly...
an initial. No, it wasn't a yearly. I
initial.
go about 3 or 4 times per year. And we made the first one, as well as we made our tuition payment. We have a young man named Victor in Dominican Republic that the Gamblu webpage pays for his Catholic tuition. And it's funny because they sent me the first initial pictures they sent me of him. This is our 3rd year now with Victor. Mm-hmm. And he was a little boy, 5th, 6th grade kid. Now he's an 8th grade kid, and they showed me a picture of him. I was like, holy cow. He's big, he's handsome. I was so impressed. So
trust me, my oldest turned 18 this week.
Man,
so
they grow
I
quick.
get it. I look at it, and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, it happens quick. Holy moly.
Exactly. Like he texted me yesterday, and he goes, I registered to vote today. And I was like, what?
Oh, good. Good.
So, no, I get it, man, when you see that, especially when you don't see him every day, right? There when you get the pictures occasionally. But we support Lou in that, obviously, because, there's all that stigma around gambling of everybody's just out to win money and cheat people and do what they can to win money. And Lou's a little bit different. So I appreciate you, and that's why we like you coming in here and doing this stuff with us, Lou. And so everybody, and then don't forget, Sneak Tea Podcast on Mondays. Well, Sunday night, Monday mornings. Then, of course, Bout Business, not behind the paywall anymore. Comes out on Fridays after the weigh-ins. Gives you your weigh-in thoughts of the fights going into the weekend. So you're here on Thursdays. You get one viewpoint here. Then the weigh-ins. Sometimes the weigh-ins will change your opinion on what you say here as well. So that's why you want to listen to that either on the website or your favorite podcast system as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I do a digital magazine that's posted on the webpage. Those releases won't change. If I make it Tuesday.
Those ones, yeah.
Yeah, if I say, bet Joe Blow on Tuesday, then I won't change it. If something happens that the fight goes away, that's a different story.
Yeah, that's what I'm more getting at. Sometimes here you say you're waiting for the weigh-ins and stuff,
oftentimes.
And that's where you want to listen. If you do have a definitive one, those don't change. I guess I should clarify.
I'm
what
not
trying
really.
to say
I'm
here.
not the guy that's trying to get a bunch of hits. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to get picked up by some national syndicate. Really, between the sneak teep and the about business, what I'm doing is catering to people that gamble on the fights. That's all I do. And so we don't get, excuse me, tremendous hits, but we do get great coverage from, this week's fight, sneak teep. I've got people in Japan.
Really?
I've got people in South America. I got people in Germany. And I'm flattered by that, and so keep it up.
I'm just wondering how much UFC going to Paramount Plus in their international coverage. I'm just wondering how that's just going to improve the. I mean, we saw the ratings on that first UFC. I mean, it's through the roof, right? But I'm just wondering how that, instead of the pay-per-view, is going to kind of change the viewership and people looking for the information that you provide.
That's actually a good question, and one I haven't even pondered yet. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know how to approach
Well, see,
that.
but if for an Apex fight, because we see it on the big fights, we see our uptake go up with you on this show. We see our uptake when you're on go up, and especially like an Australia fight, we see that region really pick up.
Oh, wow.
And
Interesting.
stuff like that. But it'll be interesting to see with an Apex fight. Usually it's a lot of this one's different, but usually it's a lot of people where you're like,
Yeah.
who are these guys?
And
Why
the
am I gonna tune into
headliners,
this?
I've heard people, these aren't real headliners. And hey, listen, they put on the fights, and I handicap into them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to criticize them for who the third fight is or this fight or that fight. If I don't like the fight, pass to the next one and try and find opportunity in another fight.
Absolutely. And you want to follow him at Gamblu as well on X, because last week, I think it was before the fight went off. You actually, it was before the fight went off, obviously, but you put a little two-player teaser for a fight last week and a fight for coming up this week, the main card as well. So what used to be behind the paywall, he now puts out on the X. So if you want to follow him on that as well, to make sure you get that updated news.
Yeah, if you're paying attention, you'll get all those releases. Now, 2 weeks ago, we had a great week, 4-2, made 4 units. And then last week, we lose 4 units. And, of course, they come out of the woodwork. Hey, look at this. One guy posted all the L. And I was like, where were you last week? They don't compliment you when they win.
No.
They just got to throw stones at you when you lose. And I
Yeah.
just told them, listen, contrary to popular belief, I don't win every bet that I make, especially when I'm taking a guy like Dan Hooker that's plus 335 underdog. I'm supposed to lose that fight 70% of the time. Well, I lost it. So, this is what I do. You're never going to go to gamblu.com and see minus 300, minus 250, minus 175. I don't do it that way.
Favorites win 65% of the time in the UFC, so they miss a lot.
So I'm trying to take a selective approach, shoot with a rifle, and find some dogs. And sometimes I do really well at it, and sometimes I don't do so well at it.
We'll get into the UFC in just a little bit, but
All right.
I wanted to cover up. Obviously, a big game happens this weekend, but before we get to that, even Waste Management Open's coming up here. Now, you don't cover golf, you don't handicap golf yourself, but a lot of people that do, and you do watch it and partake in it from time to time there. So tell us what you think about the Open. You going out there at all this weekend?
No, I don't. I'm not the crowd guy. I don't go to crowds anymore. I've had my day. My son was out there yesterday, and actually, if you want to go to the Waste Management, the day to go is Wednesday because it's loosey-goosey. Everybody, you saw the Travis Kelce
Not like
shot
it
on
used to be,
16.
though, man. I heard yesterday the crowd was crazy.
Well,
There's a lot of people there.
yeah, I mean, you're getting 200,000 people there. That's why Uncle Louie ain't going. They're not getting 2,001. They're not getting me. But be that as it may, it's loosey-goosey. Guys are high-fiving. The pros are having fun. It's really a splendid time. Then, Thursday, Friday, the crowds ramp up. The great stat was Jack Nicklaus's golf tournament in Ohio was the most successful golf tournament that there was, and they drew 85,000 people for the whole weekend. And Waste Management draws 200 a day.
Yeah,
Think of that.
Most golf tournaments restrict how many people can go into them. If you didn't know that, the Waste Management though is just like, come on in.
Oh
whatever.
no! Waste Management made a little adjustment last year,
they did.
and they're
All digital now
They're
and
they're
everything.
forcing people to tone it down a little bit because otherwise they're going to lose all the good golfers.
Yep.
for rauciousness.
But still, but more people go to the Pro-Am day on Wednesday than most tournaments get for a whole week.
Yes, and the
that's
Pro-Am
stat.
day is a fun day to go. Anyway, so let's talk. So, here, Lou, did you handicap golf? I used to, but now I don't need to because my friend Brady Cannon, who BK golfer, and my friend Cupmaker Jeff, they're great golf handicappers, so we just communicate. And in fact, I watched Cupmaker Jeff on Mitch and Paul yesterday. He was talking about this, that, and the other thing, and they were talking about some wind. This morning at 4:45, I went to take my dog for the walk in the park. And I'm telling you what, it was full force gale out there. I mean, it was blowing hard. And I texted Jeff. I said, Jeff, the wind's blowing like a MF out here. I'm telling you.
Wait, you texted him at 4:45 in the morning?
He's in Indianapolis,
I thought you were gonna say he's in
it's
Vegas.
7, and he's a golf handicapper.
Yeah.
He's watching these guys getting ready to go off. And he sent me back a real nice message. It was basically, thanks, Lou. I was thinking there was going to be wind. The forecast called for it, but now so he moved all his plays into the afternoon segment of the tournament to try and avoid the wind. So in any case, I don't handicap it. I just ask them, hey, do you got I'm Mr. Conservative. I don't bet anyone to win a golf tournament. Yeah. I bet guys in the top 20. I bet a head-to-head. Please excuse me. I'm dealing with this thing. So I took a gentleman named Thor Bjornsson.
Bjornsson, okay.
He's at even money, or he was when I took him, and I took him against some man named Cootie, and I'm wondering is that Charles Cootie's son. I'm an old guy. Charles Cootie was on the Pro Tour, spells his name the same way. I bet it's his son or nephew. Anyway, Thorbjornsson even against Cootie. That's a tournament matchup. So I got 4 days to watch that come in. At day 2, day 3, if they got head-to-heads on them, I can get involved, and we'll see. And golf bets for me are modest. I just want a little action pre-Super Bowl. I took Keith Mitchell to finish in the top 20 at 2-1, at plus 200. And then I took a young man named, I don't even know his first name. His last name is Lee, L-I. He's obviously an Asian golfer.
There's a lot of them.
It's not L-E-E. It's L-I.
It's L-I, yeah.
And I got him at 240 for the top. The Thor Bjornsson came from Cutmaker, and Brady Cannon gave me Mitchell and Lee. And so there's, a couple little modest plays there. We'll see how those go. It just keeps me involved in the tournament for a few days as we wait for...
It keeps the interest up, right?
Yeah, as we wait for the Super Bowl to hurry up and get over.
Lee.
How much more can you beat a ball game to death in the Super Bowl? I mean, I know everybody's excited for it.
Last week was all the stuff on the Patriots.
Lord.
And I was like, all right, everybody thinks Seahawks are going to win this game easily. That's why everybody's overhyping the Patriots. And then this week you're seeing, a lot of Sam Darnold stuff pop out a little bit, but even more Patriots stuff. So we'll have to see. Starting tomorrow, we'll have to see if that kind of goes more even or what. But that's the problem with the 2 weeks in between is
brutal. You're
filling way too much time.
The press doesn't have enough to talk about, and they chew everything to chew it to death.
Well, like yesterday, this is what cracks me up. I wanted to bring this up, but the safety for the Seahawks twisted his ankle yesterday in practice.
Right.
And, he was able to walk off. The ice said he stopped practicing and stuff. He's the rookie kid there. Nick, I forget his last name now, but he's the starting safety there. And so then I saw videos galore of him getting out of a vehicle last night, going back to the hotel and after dinner. And, he's limping a little bit. It's not limping that much. And I'm just like, oh, my gosh, people are playing this, and we're just overanalyzing this kid's ankle.
Yes, we are.
Moving forward because that's what we got. We're trying to find an advantage somewhere. And it just drives me nuts.
If they came to me last night and said, Lou, we got an extra uniform. We'll fly you up to Palo Alto and you can get in the uniform and play one play on kickoff, I'd play. And so a kid that's a starting free safety all year for the Seattle twists his ankle. Wild horses aren't keeping him out of the game.
Yeah.
But the press has to talk about it in perpetuity, and it influences people, which is good because excuse me, during the regular season, I rely on those tsunami waves of overreaction to create value. In the Super Bowl, we just say, listen, Steve's mom and my mom have as good a record in the Super Bowl as me. That's why I don't regard it highly. A couple of little bets here. We're going to have some fun.
People bet off of the color of uniforms, Lou. Oh, I like a
that's
Seahawks more than I like a Patriots.
That's what it should be. It should be fun for them.
Yeah.
And
now the line hasn't moved at all. It's 4.5 still favored to the Seahawks here. Over under still 45.5.
And that's because years ago, I'm talking 3 or 4 decades, Pittsburgh played the Cowboys, and the line started 3.5. And so they took the Cowboys at the 3.5. Line went up to 4.5. At 4.5, the buyback came in on Pittsburgh. So the bookmakers had exposure
Both
to the
sides.
3.5 and exposure on the 4.5. And what was the final score? 4 points. And the bookmakers got
Right
beat
in
on
the
both.
middle.
That's why you ain't going to see no line movement on this.
Okay. At all. Like they're just going to keep it at 4.5.
They're not. They still learned. They're still learning that lesson.
Not even leading up to the game, like last minute, because most bettors and not big money, but a lot of money is going to wake up Sunday morning and go, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that,
That's recreational money.
Yeah. Not moving the line.
The recreational money will roll in. That's everybody with their 10s and 20s.
Yes.
They're going to get people betting props. The prop bets, early the wise guys hit some overs. Late, 10 minutes before game time, you'll see some of those props get hit on the under because they've been going up for 2 weeks. And the Jackson Smith and Jigba open, I'm just guessing, 68 yards reception. Now he's 74, and now they'll come in on the under.
Yeah.
They'll either have both trying to arbitrage it or they'll just take the advantage. And I'm not saying that I won't do some of that. If I can see something that's really gross or obtuse, I might. But if I haven't made my money in the NFL by Super Bowl, I ain't going to make it then, especially in a prop market that I don't really dabble in. I play sides and totals. So when I give my bets, I have 5 bets to share and one I'm looking at just to show you how you do your research. But it's going to be a very mellow, I'm going to go get a nice beef tenderloin. We're going to cook that and put it on some French bread and make little sliders. And my mom's going to be in town.
Yeah, your mom's even going to be
My mom's
here.
going to be here. So we're going to eat, drink, and be merry.
Is your mom come in from Nebraska?
From Kansas City. She lives in
Kansas City.
Olathe, yes.
I knew it was a cold place. So
It is a cold
Get her out
place.
here where it's 87 degrees.
But let me
yesterday.
tell you something. If Kansas City didn't have winter, I'd live there. I mean it. It's not crowded. The traffic is light. The people are friendlier than all get out. And the prices are stupid low. I went to a barbecue joint and give the gal the card for like 7 people. And when she brought me the bill, but I thought she forgot to put the drinks
that was
on.
a mistake.
Oh, my goodness. It's unbelievable. But they got winter. And if you got winter, you don't got Uncle Lou.
That's a bad winter. That's an icy, cold winter. Then the summers
In the
are
plains.
so humid.
I can deal with that, but I just can't deal with slipping on ice and shoveling snow no more.
Exactly. That's the worst part about them is they have more ice than snow, which is the worst part of it as well. You're always slipping and sliding. So
Pardon me.
let's get into it. Give us what you're looking at for these props. I try to do research on them, and my head just starts to hurt.
Well, there's so much of them.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you start? It's like jumping in the ocean. It's like you just get overwhelmed.
They're literally like, this guy's going to take a step with his left leg to walk out to the coin flip. And
No,
you're like,
what?
What?
They have some fun ones, and I always like to try one that looks like will Sam Bennett have more shots on goal or field goals made by New England? I mean, those kinds of ones. Those always capture my imagination.
Okay.
The cross sport, and they'll start coming out right now.
Well, you always got like MVP. You got the big ones, MVP.
And we did make an MVP. We did make an MVP.
Coin flip. You famously do.
Yes,
the
I do.
tails every year.
So for months now, literally weeks and a couple months, I've been telling everyone that'll listen that Darnold's kicking the door in. when you hear a handicapper say, well, he's played good the last couple games, but can he do it now? Take that handicapper, get rid of him, because they're not with it. And there's some of my friends at VSIN that have said it, and it's a stale tie. Darnold wants to win this thing so bad. He's got the team. He's got the tools. Darnold MVP was plus 130 when I took it. Now it's plus 105 or 110.
Plus 115 right now.
115. Okay, very fair. I like that. Every year for 50 years I've taken tails. Now back in the day, the only way you could get tails was by paying 110 to win 100 or 11 to win 10. And that's just a rip because you're in a 50-50 scenario. 50. I'm giving 10% away.
And they got to make money, Lou.
So they got to make money, and Uncle Lou's just square as hell because I like tails. And I'd say for 50 years I bet 45 of them tails. There was one time I thought I'd get smart, and I'd go to heads because it was due, and then I couldn't get heads to go. Yeah. So I couldn't get off of it. Finally, it landed heads. I said, I'll never play heads again, ever. So I did find 101 on tails, and I got a bet on tails at minus 101. I got the final score to be an odd number.
I like that one.
That one's really done well for me, too. But I didn't get 101. I got minus 105 on that one. I mentioned Darnold at plus 130. You can get him plus 115 now MVP.
Yeah, plus one. On the heads and tails, sorry, it took me a minute to find it. Right now on FanDuel, it's minus 104.
Yeah. So
heads and tails. So.
Yeah. So you can find 101 and 102 out there. You just got to shop. And if you don't care and you want to just have a little modest bet, take the 104. I mean, again, we're just having fun.
Yeah. What is that? That's 40 cents you're giving up, right?
On a $100 bet, if that's
$100 bet,
yes.
Yeah.
Seattle defense, anytime touchdown. I took a taste plus 370. That's a small wager.
Oh yeah, Seattle's defense. Woo.
Seattle minus 7.5 in the game, plus 133. You can get that at DraftKings, and I just made that yesterday.
So that was an alternate line movement.
You can make alternate line. If you go to minus 8.5, which I like as well, you get plus 160 or so. And then I'm shopping around because I love to play arbitrage on field goals. I got one guy that has longest field goal, 48.5, and I got DraftKings has 50.5. That's getting close. If I can find one more yard, if I could find 47.5 and 50.5, or if I could find 48.5 and 51.5 and have 3 yards of in between, then I'd bet one on each side. They'd gladly give the juice away to try and get one in the middle. It's safe play. The worst I can do is lose the VIG, but I could hit both. That's what the Super Bowl looks like to me. I'm going to be worried about having family over and eating sliders.
I'd say eating your fantastic food that you'll be cooking there as well. So, yeah, I don't take the Super Bowl serious on anything. I just game's on. Let's go. It's the last game of the year. It's like, for a while.
Yeah,
so
and people think it's the last game, so they got to make all these bets because they're not going to get football for so long. That's such a poor approach. Again, if you don't have a system for props, if you haven't practiced by playing props over the course of the last several months in the NFL, and now you're going to start to jump in the prop market, just understand that it's going to be hard for you to win money. If you're looking to have fun, hey, guys got to put gas in the boat. Guys got to pay for a cart to go golfing. So all your hobbies cost a little something. So if you're hobbying, no problem.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to make money on the props and you haven't been playing props or don't have a system, don't expect to win.
I was watching a story, I think it was on VSIN, where a guy said his account, he knows somebody's account was shut down by a casino because he never bets props, and all of a sudden he started plopping big money down, $500 or $150 or something per prop bet, and the casino was like, nope, we're not doing that, refunded all of his money and shut him down for 6 months because they were so concerned about him all of a sudden plopping money down. Hey, really quick, Seattle Seahawks, you said you moved it to 7.5?
Yes, sir.
What'd you say your odds were on DraftKings?
Plus 133.
It's plus 158 right now on FanDuel.
Wow. So that tells you to shop around. Uncle Lou got a bad number. I don't have a FanDuel.
I didn't realize it was bad. I wouldn't have said that on air. But
no,
you
can always say that.
Minus 7.5 plus 150. But it might have moved, too, since you did it.
It could have.
I didn't look DraftKings. That was just FanDuel, so the difference there as well. Interesting enough, how much do the people think that Seattle's winning this game. If you go anywhere positive with Seattle Seahawks, your number goes negative quickly, in big numbers quickly negative. That's how much they think Seattle's winning this game in terms of the betting.
Well,
side
they're a
of
pretty
things.
popular team right now. Most most people are on Seattle, and when you hear that in October, it's like perfect. It's the everybody bet, because if you want to be wrong, follow everybody. Super Bowl's a little bit different, and it doesn't adhere. Like I say, Steve's mom's more correct than me in the Super Bowl, so let's not take ourselves too serious.
Yes, it's like the tournament when the person in your office pool that does mascots or uniform colors, and they always win those pools.
And
so.
and God bless them, because there's a method to their madness. But I mean, if you want to get into the game, let's look at Seattle's the number 2 special teams DVOA, New England number 20. And you hear everybody talking about that New England defense sure has been good. Who'd they play?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Denver in a blizzard. Denver got with the second string quarterback, and Houston in weather with a terrible offense. Before that, the Chargers struggling on offense.
Yeah, lots of injuries.
New England's defense, 23rd ranked DVOA. I look for Seattle to pound New England into submission. This game will be over at halftime, and in the second half, Seattle will pile it up. That's my opinion.
I tend to agree with you on that.
That's my opinion.
It'll be a double-digit victory, and the only reason I say that is because with the running game, Seattle will be able to keep the ball. I just don't know how New England's going to be able to score with that Seattle defense. Is my big question.
I think that's a very.
You're going to have to explain that to me. Nobody's been able to explain it to me. I get things like this. There's a 15th time in the last 26 Super Bowls a number 1 seed in the conference has faced a non-number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
In 14 matchups, the better seed lost 12 times.
And those are trends. And you know what? Trends are your friends. And you want to be aware of a trend.
Which
but
makes you think makes you think Patriots are going to win it.
A trend.
while you're
Please excuse me.
Yeah. While you're
a trend is like the rearview mirror in your car, okay? It's important because you need to be aware of who's on your side and who's behind you, but you don't drive looking at the rear view. You drive looking out the front of the big panoramic windshield. And that's what you have to do betting. You got to be aware of those trends. Yeah. You got to be aware that they're there. But anything that happened yesterday has absolutely nothing to do with what's going to happen in this game on Sunday.
I actually go on the side of, I've been noticing that all of those types of trends people are finding those trends for the Patriots, which tells me most people are trying to find a way that the Patriots can win the game. Because that tells you that Seattle's got the odds-on favorites.
If I just look at my DVOA numbers,
I know, then you get into the stats.
I don't see numerically how New England stacks up. So I'm just going to handicap it the way I handicap all my games. And would I prefer a close game down to the end? I think so. But Las Vegas Review-Journal has a little column that'll be out tomorrow, and a bunch of us handicappers gave our score. I gave 26-17 for Seattle. That's an under, but yet a Seattle 9-point victory. We'll see.
Still cover that. The interesting thing, with seeing those numbers, that's just the whole 2 weeks deal between games where everybody's just trying to find stuff to try to make it. My dream scenario this weekend, and if it happens, I might not survive Sunday. It's just, 4th and 2, 3 yard, whatever it was, 3-4 yard line. Seattle has the ball down by whatever. And do you run it or do you pass it? That's my dream scenario. I just want that scenario to happen.
That's the same one they had in that game against the Patriots.
When they turned it over and the Patriots win the game.
And Sal Paolantonio on the network gave some really good, interesting insights into this game. The last 5 times these guys have played, these two teams, it's been a 1-score game. Yes. And the last 3 times they played, the game ended on the 1 yard line.
But that was Tom Brady and Russell Wilson and Legion of Boom and
That's trends are it's a rear view mirror, baby.
Yeah, it's a little different than today. Now, if all those guys were still playing, then it might be a different story. But these teams are completely different now than they were then. But that's just my dream scenario. I would be giddy if that situation was showing up. But let's take our break here. Anything else on the Super Bowl you want to add or anything?
Have fun, enjoy it,
and enjoy your food. He makes me so hungry when he's in here, folks. When we come back, we'll get into it. UFC last week, another numbered event down in Australia. Some question marks I got here. It got brutal a couple times. And then, of course, we got the Meta Apex coming up this weekend in Las Vegas before a bye week for UFC. They take next week off, for love, Valentine's Day. Come on back, folks. Main event Thursdays with Uncle Lou. I get sick though, Lou. Coming after you.
I'm hoping you don't. My mom's supposed to come to town this weekend. I hope I can dry this
Those
thing
sinus things just stick around forever, though. That's the problem with them.
Freaking brutal.
You'd rather almost get like the flu or something.
And it jumped on me out of nowhere.
Days.
I don't know where it came from. It just jumped on me.
So I'm driving around town, and just there's weeds the size of me everywhere on all this city property and all of this stuff and everything. It's like they're all drying out now because we haven't had rain in a while. So now they're all wilting away. And I'm like, everybody's allergies, and I have bad allergies. I'm like, we're all going to be dying here in the next couple of weeks. Eyes are going to be running and sneezing and sniffling. Yeah. And it's like, here it comes. I can see it coming.
My wife and son have terrible allergies. I've been blessed enough to not have to deal with them. But if this is what that is, I surely wouldn't want it.
Oh, no. Out by me, there's a lot of open land still where they haven't built yet, and I'm not
Dust
kidding you. I mean, I can't. I'm driving down a road in my car, and you can't see past the weeds on the side of the road, and that's how tall they are. And I'm just like, here we go, and they're just gonna wilt out with this 87-degree temperatures we're having right now. And
well, it's not. It's easier. Yourself. It's easier walking the dog at 4:45 in the morning when it's 60 degrees out. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, right. Well, a few more months, it'll be 90. It will be.
And I love it. I'll be in shorts and a t-shirt. Bring it.
So last week, UFC here down there in Olympic Park in Australia. The road to the UFC, one fight was canceled because the guy just flat out cheated in his way, which cracks me up. My favorite part was when they caught him. He just goes, and he walks off.
No, he knows he's done. He just go home, bro.
He knew he was done when he was trying to cheat, though. He was like, let's just see if we can get this to work. My favorite part about that, though, is in the initial weigh-in video, when he has the box around him and he's flexing and obviously, putting it down. It was you hear somebody on a microphone go, he goes 122, and somebody goes, what? Like, instantly somebody went, there's no way. And was audible about it and stuff like that. So that fight was canceled. That's just that to me. That's just sad because you can win a contract to the UFC and you gave yourself no chance at that point. But then again, he also missed weight by. Yeah, you
don't know if it was lack of focus or he just, it was a bad couple days. Who knows? But boy, if you're a professional, you don't want to let that happen.
Well, that's the thing, and they're trying to be into the professional ranks,
That's right.
To get
He's
to
trying
that level.
To enter in.
So it's that's the difference to me.
Not quite the first impression you want to make, eh?
That's an instant. You're not going to be part of this, man.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So then the fight. I thought those fights were all right. They obviously weren't seasoned UFC people and stuff, but. Man, did it pick up with Oban Elliott and Jonathan McCallough.
Yep.
In that fight, submission in the second round. I just wanted to ask you here your thoughts on Oban, because I think last week, if I remember right, you kind of liked him.
Yes.
And everything. Did your opinion change with that submission?
Oban loss. Finney loss.
Yeah, he's my next question for you.
The Roaston was a parlay. That one hit, Elikana hit with Bautista into this week's card. We'll get to that. I had Malarkey to start round 2. He got subbed in the first round, and I had Fiziev. So we go 0-4 on the card. And dadgummit, if I'm a competitor, I want to win. It tells me, that the favorites are marching right now, and yet you're still taking those underdogs. And you know what? I'm never going to temper my spirit. I'm looking for dogs. I'm looking for plus price. That's what I do. I don't want to be stubborn about it, but I'm going to continue to try and find plus price opportunities. That's why I took Elikana to Bautista.
Yeah.
Even though Bautista at the time was minus 200, right now you look at him, he's minus 162, 172, minus 180 at one place. And so I got the worst of the number there. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes I got way the best of the number. So in that fight, I got the worst of the number. But I do like the fighter. He's a MMA lab kid, and we'll get to that fight.
Absolutely. So I guess that's just my question with all the guys like Finney. I know the announcers were really down on Finney because he's undefeated in UFC, fought a certain way. went up against somebody in Malkoon that just kind of dominated him with a different style, and he showed he wasn't prepared to fight that style in that fight there. So that's just my question on any of these guys. Your opinions change on them, or was it just a one fight?
Yeah, Finney's
move
one
forward?
dimensional, and I said his wrestling was better than Malkoon, but he never could go attack him
Never
and
try.
take Malkoon down.
Yeah.
I thought the unusually lengthy time off for Malkoon would affect him, and didn't look like it affected him much at all because he painted Finney's fence.
Yes.
That was not a close fight.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting there watching me watch that, I mean, it doesn't take but 25 seconds in to know that Uncle Louie in hot water, and that was the second fight. I'm like, oh boy. So it can be painful. This ain't easy.
See, I watch them and I go, because I've seen fights where a guy just gets dominated. There was one in the first in that you wrote to the UFC where either the Japan kid or the South Korean kid, I think it was the Japan kid, was getting his butt kicked, and then he connected on a knee and wins the fight. And it was like a minute or two from the decision, and it was like, man, that guy was about to lose, and he turned. So I'm still new to this, Lou, where I'm still like holding out hope, like, all right, something's gonna happen.
Well, as a gambler, that's what I'm hoping. I'm like, Finney, take him down and get on top. And he couldn't execute it.
Finney
Finney's not long for the league.
Finney went to his bets one time, and he used he used swear words, but he goes, "You're not listening to us. Go take him down,
Wrestle him."
And then he comes out. First thing, takes 2 steps back.
Yeah.
Takes 2 steps back, and I was like, oh, he's not listening still.
Well, he isn't listening, but that's a part of Malkoon knowing what to do as well. So,
Yes, yeah.
it takes two to tango.
Well, absolutely. You're not going to just go jump in with it. Well, that's the other thing. Malkoon's side was saying, stay away from him. Don't let him
That's
come inside.
right.
Don't let him come inside. So,
And Malkoon's a fighter I've made a lot of money on. For me to get off him and go to Finney, I thought was the right handicap. Clearly wasn't.
So that's just my main thing. I was just curious on that. Sal killed in that first round submission over Malarkey in that fight as well. 2 Australian guys battling it out there. The Australian guys seem to me fought with more passion than the non-Australians in this fight. Am I oversimplifying this?
No, I mean, anytime the UFC goes to a certain corner of the country, they're trying to export their brand there. Usually those fighters get somewhat favorable matchups. In this fight with Salkild and Malarkey, Salkild was supposed to fight a Chinese fighter named Rong Zhu. And at the last minute, Malarkey steps in. And I thought Malarkey was going to be way more competitive than he was. And, bully for me, he wasn't.
Absolutely. The heavyweight fight was interesting because Teixeira,
out of gas. Both guys out of juice.
I'm literally sitting there losing my mind. Hey, Ty, just hit him a couple more times. And he hits him. And then he has to take a deep breath and just wraps him up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, one more hit and he's falling over. I was going mad about that.
Even the announcers were telling him, get away from that clinch and step back. All
But
you got to do is sneeze on him.
That fight ended and they both just sat there.
Yeah, they were done.
Just breathing.
Those 2 guys are both cans.
But the interesting thing about this, and it made me think, man, there was a time where heavyweight fighters came in and they were just rock solid muscles, in shape. We've lost that in that heavyweight side of things where these guys couldn't
this
go
week
3
we'll get
rounds. One. Are we? Okay. Because I was like, man, I was thinking back to like boxing with Mike Tyson and those guys. And like they just came in, and these guys came in a little chubby, and you could tell they were just getting worn out. Kind of made me laugh a little bit.
I mean, Ty was 3-something and had to cut to make 265.
Yeah.
So
he had a lot of skin hanging out there as well.
Yeah,
so he's got a lot of weight in other places as well. But then the big one here, Saint Denis. I mean, you said he's a warrior. We've seen him fight before. He impressed me hugely in this fight. He's got no F's to give and wants to be the best, and he's got enough to be the best out there. He dominated Hooker to the point where it became uncomfortable watching that fight with the domination from that side. St. Denis, they've got to be promoting him up to the top at this point, right?
Well, he now surely propelled himself into the top 4, but that's a really tight, tough division.
Yeah.
And we'll see who and what they give him next.
Yeah, because was he special forces guy?
French paratrooper.
He goes into that fight and he takes that mentality of it's me against the world right now, and I got to survive this, and he does not let it go.
He was rushed into Poirier a little too quick, and then he got exposed against Moicano in a fight that was weird. But he's rebounded from those losses and now showing up to fight like this.
Yeah.
So you got to give him some cred.
Absolutely. I mean, it was amazing. And like I said, it went on a little too long. But then the main account here, Volkanovski and Diego Lopez here. This was a dominating fight by Volkanovski. I thought the scorecard was a little off. But then I saw your post, and you were pretty even with the judges there as well. I thought a couple of rounds there, Lopez was pretty close to winning those rounds, even if he didn't win them. But everybody else seems to think that was domination there by Alexander.
I saw 49-46, and many others did. It doesn't really matter if it's 48-47, excuse me, or 49-46, because Volkanovski just had it, and Lopez wasn't busy enough. You can't learn wrestling and deft footwork in a cage in a year, especially if you have a fight in between. It's an evolution, not a revolution. And they rushed Lopez back. Why? Because they want a Mexican champion. Had he won, that would set up beautiful future fights. Now they're going to make Evloev, a Russian vice grip, boring wrestler, fight Lerone Murphy in London in an upcoming card. And that winner probably gets propelled into Volkanovski. So
the interesting thing, it came out after the fight that Lopez broke both his feet in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know when it happened. After the fight, he was walking around like
he was limping bad. As soon as the fight was over, he couldn't get out of the cage.
So I didn't see that far. I saw the interview and I saw him leaning against it. But when I saw after the fight, he was. I didn't see him like seriously.
Oh yeah,
going.
no, he was.
But obviously that affects the way you fight too.
Oh no! Well, those leg kicks. if you've never tried it, just try it on a heavy bag, let alone some man's shin.
Hitting their shin bone.
And you're going to break toes. You're going to break knuckles on your toes and bones in your feet. I mean, it takes a while to get used to that kind of striking.
So does it hurt? Does Lopez fighting in that fight? And, he got dominated. There's no doubt about it. I thought a couple rounds he kind of stood in there and fought. But does that change the opinion on Lopez here moving forward? Because he gets a lot of those big-name fights.
He needs to change camps. He needs to work on his wrestling and his footwork. He needs to go back to the drawing board a little, fight a couple of fights, get himself back and ready to get into the upper echelon.
Yeah, just curious on that because I really like him as a fighter, and he's impressed me a lot.
Oh, he's a great kid.
One, it was like, come on, man. Like, I expected more from you in this one. But it's also your opponent as well. I mean, Volkanovski looked really good in that fight,
in and out, up and down, combinations. Volk's a beast.
Yeah, so it was fun. So that was last week's numbered event. Now this week we come here to the Meta Apex is what they're calling it now, and everything up here in Las Vegas. 6 p.m. Main card here on Saturday night before they have an off week next week as well. So coming into this one, usually on the Apex you're going, at least I'm going, I don't know. Some named people in this fight here, but like I usually do here, I'm going to leave it to you here to tell me which prelim fights we should pay attention to here as well. There's one in the on the female side that I've seen some people talking about as well, but then you've got a Nurmagomedov in this fight as well.
Who just dropped out of the fight today? Yes,
this morning, of course. The one I know drops out this morning,
right? And a lot of these names we've seen. Yeah. But they're not necessarily that great a fighter. But we'll start in the.
Yeah, you tell us on the prelims because I don't want to waste time on a fight that you have no interest in, and I don't know him. So
Segula, a Polish fighter against Cachoeira. Cachoeira is a killer, but she gets beat. She's rough. She has no ground game, but she's got power and she's willing. She's 10 years older than Segula, so that makes it a pass because of the age. But I'd ask you to watch that because Cachoeira is not out of that fight with her power.
That's the first fight of the night as well. They're from Brazil and Poland.
Next fight is a Polish fighter named Wiklas taking on Muin Gafarov. Gafarov is a Tajikistani fighter. He's been off a little bit. These guys are well matched. Wiklas retired Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix is no longer in the UFC, and he did that in his debut fight. Wiklas is going to be 3 inches the taller man, 4-inch reach advantage, and I think he stands a chance in this fight. Gafarov opened -150, Wiklas +130. That changed immediately, and now Wiklas minus 120.
Yeah,
what is he now?
Wicklitz is plus 114 on DraftKings. We use DraftKings for UFC for their preliminary fight stuff.
Yeah.
Plus 114 for him.
Yeah, and he was released on the sneak teep this week. If you listen to all the way through, you'll get buried nuggets within. And we took him at plus 130 when he, on the sneak teep. I think it could have been 120.
Yeah.
But we took him as an underdog on the sneak teep. The next fight, Wong, Kang, and Mora, no real thoughts about. And then we go into the early prelims. And the good news about Paramount is it's going to be 3, it's going to be 5, and it's going to be 3, it's going to be 4, it's going to be 6. Every single week. We're not going to have to wait till 10 o'clock at night for cards.
Yes.
So Paramount's going to universalize that, which is nice. So Bashrat, there's 2 Bashrat brothers. They're both Afghanis. They're both vice grip wrestlers. No power, pillow hands, but they're capable wrestlers. And the least of the 2 talented ones is a bantamweight fighter, Javid, who was supposed to fight Saeed Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov had to pull out. In steps Johnny Vasquez, who I believe is a Hispanic or Mexican fighter, but he's been on the lower circuit. They just needed to fill a body in there. He gets the opportunity. Not only is that a tough call for a guy, but he's fighting a guy at 135.
Yeah.
And Johnny Vasquez fights at 125. So it's the weight cut's going to be easy for him. But is he really ready for a bigger man like that? So that makes that one difficult. Javid will be a pretty good size favorite.
No numbers on that at all yet.
Not yet.
DraftKings. Yeah.
Then you got Ketlin Souza and Bruna Brazil. That'll be a competitive fight. And one that I'm really, again, it's females and it's 115 pounds, so they're straw weights. That'll be
coming.
Yeah, there's a decision coming. You see, we got Steve all teed up now.
Minus 375 tells me a decision's coming.
On the over, right?
Yeah, on the
yes,
over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then we get another late notice. This Veretennikov was supposed to fight one guy. That guy dropped out. They give him a second guy. That guy drops out, and now Nico Price jumps in, says, I'll take the fight. Nico Price is a gamer. He's got like six kids. He'll fight anybody anywhere because he's a professional prize fighter. He goes home and there's little birds in the nest with their mouth open. They want worms. So Price is a huge underdog against Veretennikov. And why? They're both 36. They're both about 6'1". They're both 170 pounds. But Veretennikov can strike, and he's a Russian wrestler. Price is a long, tall striker with not great wrestling skill.
When they do these replacements, they generally trying to find the replacements that are close to the fight, I'm assuming. So like these guys
They're
might
trying
be
to
in Vegas.
find a warm body that'll step into the ring
so
and
it
fight
doesn't
the other guy.
matter. Yeah,
they don't. Yeah, I mean,
They'll travel. We'll travel.
Price lives in Florida, so he
Okay.
went to Vegas for it. And usually what'll happen is before a card, guys will call and say, "Hey, listen, if somebody drops out, call me. I'm ready." And the UFC really, when they have it coming, I give it to them. But they're deft about putting in short notice fighters and keeping their cards alive, which entertains us.
Absolutely. So
Next fight then is,
by the way, there's no numbers on that fight yet on DraftKings at all.
on
so.
Price and Veretennikov.
Yeah.
Veretennikov is minus 325. Price plus 275. That was the opener.
Yeah, they're not in the system right now, along with that Nurmagomedov one. So just pay attention to that. He gave you the opening odds there. But, sorry, Lou. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm looking to see if they're.
Does anybody else have it up?
No, that was opener at Bet Online.
Yeah. So they haven't put those numbers up yet for any of the.
And they're in no
replacement
hurry. It's gonna Veretennikov's going to be a huge favorite.
If he's a
Just
300
take my word for
favorite,
it.
why rush it out there? It's just going to move, right? Probably his way.
Well, they just want to make sure they got a good number and they get a decent total so they don't get exposed, obviously. And Price, he's long and lean and mean. If he knees him and Veretennikov's jumping in for a takedown, anything can happen. These are the fights, after all. Now, the next fight, the main event on the prelims, Alex Morono, a 35-year-old Texan who's durable, tough, but he's lost his last 4 out of 5. And he's fighting a guy 10 years younger, 25 years old, named Donchenko, who is a Ukrainian fighter, so he can wrestle, and he's got hands. And this one is an obtuse number as well, showing
Big.
that Don Checo is a big favorite here.
675 right now.
Yeah.
On that side. Yeah, usually the fights, right? The last prelim fight's usually a close fight and a banger because obviously before they wanted you to buy the pay-per-view or whatever coming up on it. But this one's a big mismatch here.
Yeah, I mean, these whole
By the way-
sets of fights here are tough. I mean, outside of Wickless, you didn't hear me say that I've released any of these
Yes.
other fights, so we'll be watching.
Oh, the over-under on this is 1.5, minus 135 to the under here for Dashenko. Obviously, to finish Moreno pretty quickly, and here's what they're saying.
Yeah, and while I may think that the Price Veretinikov, depending on if that was 1.5, I might look at Price on the over, but not on Moreno. Even though Moreno's game and tough, I mean, when you've lost 4 of your last 5.
Yeah, that's trends, right? We talked about trends earlier. Pay attention to those. So we get the main event here as well coming up. First fight on this one, Dustin Jacoby, Julius Walker coming our way.
Yeah, Walker, 11 years younger, inch taller. I'm just not sure if he's got the ability for Jacoby. Jacoby is a U.S. fighter, was supposed to fight Jimmy Crute, an Australian, in the Australian card last week, so they got him an opponent for this week. And Jacoby opens minus 140. Now he's minus 205. I suppose I agree with that.
Minus 185 on DraftKings right now.
Okay, so Jacoby's the fave. I don't know enough about Julius Walker to invest in him just yet. This will be a due diligence fight.
Okay, perfect. Matsumoto against Basharat.
Beshrat, Farid, the brother of Javid.
Yes.
And so these guys are 135-pounders, just like the brother is a 135-pounder. And they look the same. I mean, you could almost switch guys in the fights and you wouldn't know. Javid, again, Afghani fighter, heavy wrestling, coming off a Gutierrez win. Decent win, but nothing heavy. And Matsumoto has impressed me. His last fight he won against Miles Johns, and he lost in a competitive battle against a good fighter named Rob Font. I'm interested in Matsumoto here. I think he's a live dog at, what do you got, plus 185?
Plus 225.
I think Matsumoto's live here. We're gonna find out if he can stop a takedown. Because what we do know is that Farid is selling out for the wrestling in this fight. He's got pillow hands like his brother. He ain't knocking no one out. He's going to try and get him down, get on top position, and wrestle him up. If Matsumoto can keep this fight standing, I think he stands a good chance.
Over-under on this 2.5, minus 410 to the over. I already said Basharat doesn't have any power in his punches, so it's going to be more wrestling. Matsumoto, possibly a finishing candidate?
Yeah, he is. And if you wanted to throw a long bomb and you want to take Matsumoto inside the distance kind of thing, okay, I wouldn't blame you.
All right, perfect. Then next up, you got this one. Lou, go ahead. Help me out here.
Marc-Andre Barriault is a Canadian fighter who is slower than evolution. He's lost 4 of his last 5. He's a gamer, pure kickboxer striker, and he's fighting a guy in Michael Oleszczyk, who's from Poland and used
That's
to fight.
That's how you say that?
Oh, yes. And Michael O is what we call him.
Yeah.
So Michael O used to fight at 205, and he gave guys trouble there. When he moved to 185, he's a killer. However, if they match him up with anyone that can wrestle, he gets taken down and beaten. He has no takedown defense and really any wrestling acumen. The jackpot hit for Michael O is that he's got Barriault in this fight, and these guys are going to stand. And for that reason, this is a brand new lawn boy lawnmower over spring grass. Michael O's going to knock Barriault out. Michael O's 5 years the younger guy, almost the same size, but his power in his hands are just too much. He's recently switched gyms, and he fights now with those goofy fighting nerds with the tape on their glasses, which is unusual because that's a Brazilian gym, and Michael O is a Polish fighter. So however that works, it works. But I'd be looking at Michael O in some form of inside the distance.
Yeah, over under on this 1.5 minus 175 to the under as of right now on DraftKings. So an inside the distance kind of a move.
And that's why you see Michael Lowe priced at what, 3 minus 3 something.
485 right now,
Yeah.
minus 485.
Good Lord.
It's gonna be a quick one, is what
I
I'm
think
hearing
so.
here. Like the walkout's gonna take longer.
Maybe.
Than the fight possibly. Okay. Next up, you got Almeida and Kuniev here, Russian fighter versus a Brazilian fighter.
That's right. And the Russians and the Brazils hate each other. They have a great rivalry between Sambo and wrestling against the BJJ. And Kuniev is in his sophomore fight. In his first fight, they gave him Curtis Blades. Holy cow. What did he do wrong to have to get Curtis Blades? Not only that, many thought he beat Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades won a split decision, and many in press row scored the fight for Kuniev in a 3-round fight. Kuniev's big, he's strong, he's got power in his hands, and of course, being a Russian, he can wrestle. I just don't think he comes with the typical wrestling base that most Russians do. Jailton Almeida, Kuniev will make weight at 266.
I was gonna say, this is a heavyweight fight, so when I heard wrestling there, it kind of piqued me up a little bit.
Yeah, when Kuniev steps on the scale, he'll be 265 and a half or 266. And when Jailton Almeida steps on the scale, he'll be 245 to 248. And that's because Jailton Almeida did all his fighting at 205. The problem was not one 205er would get in the cage with him. The dude's an absolute killer.
They're probably looking up at him, right?
He's a freaking killer. And so slowly over the course of 4 or 5 fights, I mean, his first one was 222, then 230, 234. He's packed himself with muscle slowly and in an evolution that makes it successful for him to be a heavyweight fighter. Jailton Almeida only has 2 losses. Early in his career, Blades beat him. Jailton Almeida, for the first round, ragdolled Curtis Blades, spent all his juice, ran out of gas, then Blades got him in the second round. And then Jailton Almeida just lost a razor-close split decision fight to Alexander Volkov, the number 2 ranked heavyweight. Listen, Almeida is the real deal. And the intrigue to this fight, in my opinion, is the body types. Jailton Almeida is chiseled out of marble, and Kuniev is like the Midas man. You know, he looks like me. He's rotund, and don't take anything away from Kuniev just because his body type ain't there. But Jailton Almeida, I believe, has to sell out to get this fight to the ground. And if he does and he can get on top, he'll own control. And if he can't get this fight on the ground, if it stays standing, the Russian Kuniev should have advantage. Jailton Almeida opened minus 550. He's now minus 150.
155.
Yeah.
That's a big drop.
That's a big drop. And so there's a lot of people on Kuniev, which in turn creates great opportunity to me on Almeida. Yeah. I've already released him. I like Almeida.
Over under in this, over 1.5, minus 140. Does that have a lot to do with the wrestling side of it?
Yeah, it has.
Could we extend it a little bit?
I think that's a bad number. I don't know what it has to do with. I can tell you what it does have to do with is the fact that I think it sails over.
Yeah, it goes way over on that
I believe so.
Yeah. Perfect on that one. This is when I saw it, I didn't realize it was a heavyweight because I just saw Almeida's picture and I just assumed.
Oh no!
And then I looked over and I was like, oh, this is a heavyweight fight.
Oh, this Almeida, he's talented. He's just undersized.
It's gonna be a big different side here. Then we got a flyweight going down to Albazi and a Japan fighter.
Yes, Horiguchi.
Thank you.
And Horiguchi was in the UFC before, and the only guy he beat him was arguably the GOAT of flyweight histories in the history of the flyweights, who was Demetrius Johnson. Horiguchi went to other circuits, has done well, and in his last fight, he dominated. This Horiguchi's a bad hombre. Albazi has had a lot of time off. He was originally, his last fight was in November of 24. So he's had some injuries he's had to deal with. There's inactivity. Inactivity makes me scared. And I just think Horiguchi is on a direct path to a championship shot. He opened 220. He's now minus
345.
Yeah.
It's a big jump.
Yeah, it is a big jump. And Albazi, I think, makes it to a decision because he's tough, he's durable, he's talented. I just don't know what he has for Horiguchi.
Yeah, over under 2.5, minus 260 to the over. So
Yeah, the
decision looks like
smaller
favorite.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Flyweight. It's amazing how small the flyweights look. And the Apex is still the smaller ring.
It is
They're not-
25
They
foot
haven't changed
cage.
that at all. So those guys won't look too ridiculous. And those big rings, those small guys
Oh,
sometimes.
it's
just
unbelievable.
so much room.
But there's still going to be plenty of room for him in
Is
this
there?
cage.
Okay. Then we, of course, got the main card, which you did a big release last week before last week's fight in this. Mario Bautista against Oliveira here this weekend in the main event.
Yeah, this Vinicius Oliveira, Brazilian fighter, he's fast, he's quick, he's powerful, he enters with great momentum, but he's stepping up into a fight against this Mario Bautista too quick and too soon. He's being rushed. I think the UFC wants him to win. They'd love to see him win because Mario is quiet, strong. He doesn't talk a lot. He lets his talking take place in the cage. Mario's coming off a loss to Umar Nurmagomedov, a guy I have a bet on to be the champ at the end of the year. And Mario fought him. Mario, I call him by his first name because I know the young man, fights up here at the MMA lab in Phoenix. And his level of competition faced, how he's fared against it, and the fact that this is his first 5-round main event fight has him finitely focused. This gym's totally looking forward to this. And what we'll see is round one, I think we'll see a little bit of a speed and power difference where Mario will be trying to cut the cage and corner him. I look forward to Bautista trying to wrestle up Oliveira in the first 2 rounds, and rather than give him room to strike and kick, force him to defend wrestling, get off the cage, and use his energy, precious energy, to get Mario off of him. And then, excuse me, as we evolve into 3rd and 4th round, Mario going to open up on this kid. I think it's 4.5 over minus 135.
Minus 145 right now to the under.
Yeah. To the under?
Yeah, to the under.
I believe in the under, yes. I believe Mario going to finish this kid just by taking him deep, tiring him out, and giving him a PhD in MMA.
Yeah, minus 145 right now, 4.5. Like I said, we use DraftKings. Just somebody messaged me and said they get confused. UFC open. It's the lines with UFC's easier on DraftKings than on FanDuel this early in the week, and
Well,
then it changes this
and
weekend. So that's why we do that.
And you people asking, you should have, if you're betting these, you should have 1 or 2 or 3 places where you shop that you can get an extra dime or 20 cents if it's available.
Like on DraftKings, half the fights weren't even listed here last night when I was looking at it. And DraftKings had them all on there, except for obviously the replacement ones here. But so Bautista in this fight, MMA Lab up there.
Yeah.
Not worried about it being a 5-rounder. You think he's going to finish him early, but no worried about tired? Or
I think he's going to take him into the 3rd round and suck him out, and then he's going to have a field day with him.
Perfect. And, of course, you did that release last week. That's why you follow him at Gamblu.
Well, you got the first part in Elicana at minus 278, and with Mario at the time minus 200, we've got 2 units to win 2.16 units. So this is a big move for us. We'll be looking for Mario to fight well. Mario's looking for Mario to fight well. Oliveira is looking to steal the thunder and take all that momentum from Mario and use it for himself and propel himself up the rankings. 135-pound fighters in the small cage should be a great fight.
My last question is, so, he fights up there at the MMA Lab, and he has his own crew guys, right? Or I call them crew guys, but, cornermen and stuff like that. Do they just rent the space at the lab, or are they? How does that work up there? Is it just, hey, we or is there trainers up there at the lab separate from his corner guys and stuff? Or
no, the MMA Lab is run by a guy named John Crouch, who's like a 5-level Brazilian black belt under Royce Gracie. He's like most pedigreed guy in the country, and he has his team of coaches that teach that gym. And when you go there, it's funny. When I was a kid, I needed a coach that would grab me by the face mask and scream and spit my face. That's how John Crouch is not like that. He's like their father. He rarely if he raises his voice, it's odd. He consults with them. He's their father figure. And I'm going a long way in saying that when you show up at the MMA Lab, you're fighting in a family. It isn't really a gym. And when I went there last week, there were one or two guys of well-known name that were there. And I was like, hey, is that Zalal? And he's like, yeah, he's taking a look. So these guys, especially if you're 25, 35, 45, meaning 125, 135, 145, there's a niche at the lab for that size fighter. They also do well with 55 and 70, but there's always guys that want to take a little different look, get a little different taste.
Yeah.
And to see new guys there, I go right up to them and I tell them, hey, this ain't no gym. This is a family. And then I get out of their hair.
Yeah, they move.
They just think I'm some old dude hanging around.
One of the guys, in one of the fights last week in Australia, a fighter had moved down there. He's like, Australia's my home now. And it's because he went there and he determined that
was
that's the
Hoofy,
style.
who went down to
Hoofy.
train with Volkanovski.
Yeah.
And he's a fighting nerd that left the nerds to go to Australia, which is odd. Looked pretty good to him. He knocked
He was
my
happy
guy
with it.
out.
But that's what kind of begged that question here, and it was kind of in the back of my head was, these gyms, are they recruiting guys, or is it just a guy goes, I need to change something about my fighting style. This gym can't give it to me, so I got to go here. So there is coaches and things to go to these gyms. So it's not like,
It's a
MMA
combination.
lab and you walk in with, hey, these are my guys to train me, and you guys stay out of it. We're just going to use your gym.
No, they anybody wants to come, they'll take as long as you're coachable, and you want to be there.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of them really recruit. They've got enough fighters in their camp, and so
Bautista's going to do its own recruiting this weekend, right?
The fighter does his research and says, these guys are really good at wrestling over here, so I'm going to go try.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious on that how that worked and everything, because when I heard that with like you said, Hoofy over the weekend, I was like, I got to remember to ask Lou about that.
Yeah.
I got to get up there to that MMA lab and check it out one time as well. So. Just see how the inner workings work.
Let me know. Saturdays usually, now not this Saturday because they're up there getting ready for the fights.
Yeah.
But a Saturday at 12:30, the pros go from 12:30 to about 2, and it's great learning.
We'll have to go plan on that. I'll have to drag Lou up there with me since he knows.
Well, no, Lou goes up there anyway, but I'll drag you to the Waffle House, make you buy me a cheeseburger. How's that?
We'll do that, right? We'll do that. Just anything to help the knowledge here on the sport and how it grows and the inner workings of it, I think can't hurt you out there. So, Lou, as always, so next week, no UFC fight next week. They're taking Valentine's Day off. Love is in the air.
Next year, the Super Bowl's on Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
so you got all kinds of commotion.
Well, which means the holiday weekend,
which
too.
means guys go out and get your dinner reservations for Friday.
Absolutely. And then so that's next week. But coming next week, we'll talk the hockey. We'll talk all that stuff as well.
There's other sports on the horizon, so I'm coming in, and we got stuff to talk about.
Let's do it. So Lou will be back next Thursday as well. Follow him, Gamblou. Hit him up as well if you have questions. And otherwise, we'll see y'all later. McCollum on Business coming up at 11. And otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow. Super Bowl Talk with Dale will be back tomorrow as well, folks. See you then. Thank you for joining us. The main event.